The bridge of the Talon's edge hummed with tension as Grand Admiral Thalen Rusk stood before the holographic display, his forearms crossed in a gesture that had made entire star systems surrender. His chitinous exoskeleton gleamed under the command deck's lights, and his compound eyes fixed on the human vessel hovering just outside weapons range. They dare to refuse? His voice carried the grinding quality of stone on stone, amplified through the ship's comm system. I have destroyed armadas. I have glassed planets. And these? Humans. I think they can deny the Krethian dominion? His second in command, a smaller Krethian with duller plating, clicked nervously. Grand Admiral, they claim they are a civilian transport. A colony ship carrying families to the outer rim. Thalen Rusk's mandibles spread in what his species considered a fearsome display. Then, they will provide a hostage. One of their young. We will hold it as insurance while they submit to inspection. This is the law of the void. The human captain's face appeared on the screen, looking exhausted but defiant. Dark circles rimmed her eyes, and her hair was pulled back in a messy knot. Grand Admiral, we've already transmitted our manifest. We have 300 families aboard, including 87 children under the age of 10. We're not a military vessel. Precisely why you will comply, Thalen rumbled. Send us a juvenile. Any will suffice, or we will board your ship by force. The human captain's expression shifted through several emotions that Thalen couldn't quite parse. Finally, she nodded slowly. Give me 10 minutes to explain to the families. The channel closed. Thalen clicked his satisfaction. Another species learning their place in the galaxy. The Krethians had perfected this intimidation for 3,000 years. Take a hostage, demonstrate power, extract compliance. Simple. Effective. 9 minutes later, an escape pod launched from the human vessel. Bring it aboard, Thalen commanded. Carefully, I want the juvenile alive and unharmed. Damaged hostages have no value. The pod was small, barely larger than a supply crate. When it docked and the airlock hissed open, Thalen expected to see a cowering human child, perhaps weeping for its parents. What he saw instead was something far stranger. A small human cub stood in the airlock, barely reaching the height of Thalen's lowest thorax. The creature had bright eyes and wild brown hair that stuck up in multiple directions. It wore what appeared to be sleepwear covered in images of primitive spacecraft. In its arms, it clutched a worn rectangular object. Hello! The cub chirped, its voice high and cheerful. I'm Miro. I'm 6 3/4 years old. Are you the Grand Admiral? Thalen stared. His tactical officers stared. Every Krethian on the bridge experienced what could only be described as cascading system failure of their threat assessment protocols. You are the hostage? Thalen managed. Yep. Miro bounced on his toes. Mama said you needed something important from us. So I volunteered. I'm very brave. Everyone says so. You volunteered. The words felt foreign in Thalen's vocal chambers. And I brought you a present. The cub thrust the rectangular object forward. This is Mr. Snuggles. He's my favorite pillow. I've had him since I was 2. He goes everywhere with me. But Mama said that when you meet someone important, you should give them a gift. And you're a Grand Admiral, so you must be super important. Thalen looked at the object. It was clearly a primitive cushioning device, worn soft from use, with faded images of Earth animals on the fabric. One corner was darker than the rest, stained from what his sensors indicated was saliva. You wish to give me your sleeping cushion? Not just any pillow, Mr. Snuggles. He's the best pillow in the whole galaxy. He's really soft, and he smells like home. And when you're scared or lonely, you can hug him and feel better. Miro pressed the pillow into Thalen's lower left manipulator. Here. You keep him. That way you won't be lonely while I'm visiting your ship. For the first time in his 43-year military career, Grand Admiral Thalen Rusk experienced complete cognitive paralysis. He held the pillow. It was warm from the cub's body heat. It did, indeed, smell like something organic and strangely comforting. Wow, your ship is so cool. Miro spun around, taking in the bridge. Is that a weapons console? Do you have a mess hall? I'm pretty hungry. Do Creathians eat snacks? I like crackers. Oh. And can I see the engine room? I want to be an engineer when I grow up. The cub wandered toward the navigation station, completely unafraid, chattering continuously about human colony plans and how his little sister was too young to come, but sent her regards, and was that a real tactical display because it looked just like the ones in his video games. Thalen's second-in-command leaned close. Grand Admiral, what do we do? Thalen looked at the pillow in his hands. He looked at the human cub, who was now attempting to make friends with his weapons officer, asking if the Creathian liked picture books. He looked at the human ship on his display, where he could now detect life signs clustered near viewports. Families watching their child. He understood, with sudden and uncomfortable clarity, what the humans had done. They had not sent a hostage. They had sent an ambassador of absolute innocence. They had weaponized trust itself. This small creature had looked at his warship, his reputation, his threat of violence, and offered him its most precious possession with genuine kindness. It was the most devastating tactical maneuver Thalen had ever witnessed. Open a channel to the human vessel, he said quietly. The captain appeared again, her expression carefully neutral, but her hands gripping her command chair. You may proceed to your colony, Thalen said, unmolested, with our protection, for the remainder of your journey through Creathian space. And Miro? Her voice cracked slightly. Thalen looked at the cub, who had somehow convinced his tactical officer to show him a holographic star map, and was exclaiming over the colors. We will host him for dinner, then return him safely. He has taught me something today. What's that, Grand Admiral? Thalen clutched the pillow called Mr. Snuggles. That perhaps the most powerful force in the galaxy is not weapons or fear. It is a species that sends its young into the unknown, armed only with kindness, and a gift freely given. The channel closed. Miro waved at him from across the bridge. Grand Admiral, your officer says you might have chocolate. Do Creathians like chocolate? I have some in my pocket I can share. And Grand Admiral Thalen Rusk, conqueror of systems, terror of the void, felt something he had not experienced in decades. He felt small, and somewhere in his ancient warrior's heart, he felt the first crack of something that might one day become friendship. He looked down at Mr. Snuggles. Thank you, small human, he whispered.